Hello, hello, friends. Happy Thursday. All right. Let me get you guys up on my computer. Happy New Year, everyone. All right, my iPad has just binged, so I know I'm live. Let me just turn the volume down on this thing. You guys don't need to hear my notifications. All right. Okay. How is everyone's New Year going? I think I did the last live of 2024 and then realized that I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and so I would be gone during my next scheduled live. So Carla and I did a little switcheroo. Hello, Sandra. So you guys get me today, and yeah, which I am happy to be here. I'm almost all packed for my trip. Wow, is my computer ever slow? I'm trying to get you guys up so I can see comments there, but it is not cooperating. So I was kind of, scratching my brain, wondering what to do for today's live. And I thought, I don't know if you guys might be a little bit like me and have some products kind of in your stash that get pulled out very infrequently. I thought, you know what, today would be a great opportunity to pull some of those products out and just show them a little bit of love, play around with them a little bit. Maybe you've got some of this that you haven't had a chance to use yet, and we can kind of talk about how these gloss sprays work. This is what we're going to be playing with. The Dina Wakley gloss sprays. Hi, Jennifer. Ah, there we go. I got you guys up. Awesome. And in all honesty, it's a little bit, it's the new year and the new products are not quite, there's not a whole lot coming out that's new quite yet. And anything that you kind of may have seen on social media just hasn't quite hit the store yet. So I thought, you know what, let's play with these guys. Maybe revisit a few techniques for those of you who haven't used these. And all the colors that I've got I'm using are in the store. So if you kind of like them, kind of how they work and what they look like, then you can pick these up. So what these are a gloss spray, which is essentially, well, it's a glossy acrylic spray, so it's kind of like a plastic. So I'm just going to kind of show you here. This is, I was kind of testing all my sprays last night because sometimes they get a little bit clogged if you haven't used them for a while. So, hi Carla. So this is kind of what my little piece of paper after I put all the colors together, but you can kind of see that sheen on them. And it leaves it with a really smooth feel as well. So, pretty much anything you do with any type of spray, you can kind of do with these gloss sprays. But kind of one of the neat things with these, yeah, they are fun, Carla. One of the really neat things with these is because it's a plastic, then once the color dries, the colors will resist each other. So we'll play, actually, maybe what we'll do is we'll spray one solid piece right now, just so I can show you how that works. Actually, let's do this. So I took out a piece of, this was like some, I don't know, I was doing some clean out, and it's not really a cardboard. It's like, it is paper, but it's coated on both sides. So it's just, essentially I'm kind of recycling what I kind of have in my lying around my house. So, and I did kind of a test spray with it, and it adheres really nicely to this. So let me grab a quick stencil here, and we'll just kind of give this a spray, and then we'll set this piece aside because I want to show you guys how these resist colors. So, and hopefully I don't get spray all over the place. I kind of had a little, cardboard setup all around my perimeter here, and I was like, it's kind of messing with the lighting. So we're going with, I kind of have paper towel. You can't see it, it's off camera, but I've got paper towel, and I'm going to try not to spray in the direction of my computer, because that would be like me. Okay. Hi, Annette. Hello to everybody who's popped in while I've been chatting and maybe haven't been able to, I haven't seen your names pop up. Okay, so you can hear it's got a mixing bowl in here. So you want to give this a good shake. And then we will, oh, wouldn't you know, okay, spray, spray. Like this is one of the unclogged ones, but clearly it must have a little bit of a clog somewhere. And of course that's going to happen when we're live. So let's hope we have better luck with the next color. So, okay, let's try this again and see if we get that. Oh, there we go. Spritz a little off to the side, but it works. All right. So I'm just going to give that a nice spray here. Yes, I'm going quite heavy on there. I'm going to pull that off, and we are going to just set this aside to dry. I've got a little bit of bleed here, but that's fine. For demonstration purposes, if I was, you know, really wanting to be perfect with this, then I would use a spray adhesive. Okay. Now, one of the neat things we can do with these sprays, you can see here I've got a lot of spray on my stencil, so I'm just going to grab another piece of paper. We'll set that down here, and we'll just do that little stamp technique. Now, you're not going to get a, you know, perfect stamp on here, but we'll kind of try that resist color thing with this. And these nails are pretty, but they're very impractical for crafting. Ooh, cool. I like that. So I've got a lot of ink left on here. I could do that process again, or we can also bring in a piece of, let me just find my other paper. I had everything so organized that now I don't know where it is. I just want to get a plain piece of paper. One thing I like to do too, you can drag your paper through here. Okay, I'm going to do that a little bit because we'll kind of do that for cleanup, and that helps with cleanup. Okay, we're just kind of dipping our paper in there. I'm going to set that aside as well. Okay, and then ordinarily I would keep going with that process, but I'm not going to sweat it. All right, but what I am going to do is just take a piece of paper and go right over the top there. Pick up some more of that spray. So no worries, we don't have a whole lot on here, but that's fine. We'll kind of keep that and build on it. So this is definitely something if you that you can, you know, basically play with to just kind of see what you can do with the product. And layering on over top is a really great way to use this as well. And we'll do that. I'll show you that as we layer different colors. Now, you can dry this with a heat tool, but remember it's an acrylic and it's kind of like plastic. So it actually works better if you can just kind of set it aside and let it dry on its own. Now I use quite a bit of spray on here, so I will work on that off camera later to get it all nice and clean. Okay, I just want to make sure I wipe all that spray off here so that we don't get all that color on our next piece of paper. Okay, so our first stencil, we've just set that aside and we're just going to let it dry. It should dry fairly quickly. Okay, but while it's drying, I'm just going to bring in another piece of paper here. And so if you've got a craft mat, a super easy way to use these, and I'm kind of going to, actually I'll show you two ways. So, you know, remember I was showing you this one and it's kind of clogged. Well, I have a couple that did get a little bit clogged. So, you know, I was thinking, and I haven't really had a whole lot of time to kind of figure out why. So what I thought You know, if you have trouble unclogging it or you can't quite figure out why, just a really easy, super way to use these then is just take your little tube out, and we're just going to do some splatters on here. Okay, I'm going to grab this other one that I couldn't quite get it unclogged in time for the live. Maybe I'll zoom in here a little bit. If I can. Not cooperating. There we go. All right. Yeah, exactly, Carla. Hi, Melanie. And so I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, so we can just go. We can keep layering on these colors. So don't, you know, don't get discouraged if your sprays get clogged and you're having trouble getting them unclogged. And if anyone's got any super good tips how to unclog these things, by all means, share them in the comments. Okay. And see, we could just keep going with these. We can layer on some other colors. So it's just a nice fine bit of spattering. Okay. So it would be fun with these if you can do it. You do a number of them, and then they'd be a really fun confetti background on a birthday card, for example. Okay. So now if we go ahead and we just set that aside to dry, and we'll test our, actually this would be really fun to test our hypothesis of these colors resisting each other, because we should be able to go back over that with another color and just still be able to see these guys, but have the background be a different color. Okay. So that is one very easy way to use these, especially if they happen to get clogged. Yes, Melanie, it is a beautiful sunny afternoon. I'm not sure where everyone's tuning in from, but yeah, we have some beautiful weather today in Calgary. Okay, so let's do another. Let's use just a plain paper just to see what kind of, if there's any difference really. Because like I said, this paper that I'm repurposing was just like an insert for some delivery that one of the kids had. Okay, so it's kind of, it's got a coating on it, but just want to let's do another way. And you guys have seen this technique before. We'll do let's do a blue. Let's do a blue and green. So you can just do a couple of spritzes here. And we're just going to do the good old smoosh. So we're just going to pop our paper in here, then move it around. Just pick it up. Some different colors. Ooh, I know another way we can try this. And I know as you're looking at it, you might think, oh my goodness, that is a hot mess. But the beauty with this is you just keep adding layers. So we just kind of set it aside and let that dry. But I'm thinking out loud. This happens way too often on a live. But let's do this with an acrylic block. So I'm just going to pick up some of this color that's on here. If I was just going to use the block by itself, I probably would just do a little misting on the block, but this is kind of fun. Okay, and then we can... Sorry guys, I'm just going to quickly, if I can't kind of put that right in the center, there we go. And now we can kind of do a little stamp. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. You get a nice soft layer of color on there. And it's in a circle just because I'm using a circle block. But that's the good old-fashioned smoosh technique, and that works really well with these glosses. And I would probably say I took a little bit too long to stamp that on there, so these dry fairly quickly, especially if it's not super thick on your paper. Okay. So you can definitely use that for backgrounds. Super duper fun. Okay, so let's kind of bring in, actually, I'm just going to give this a little bit more time to dry. This was our previous stenciled one, and there's quite a bit of liquid here. It's just about totally dry, but I want to make sure it's completely dry before we kind of layer more color over top of that. Okay, so let's do a little bit more, actually. Let's work with this little piece of paper that I've gessoed, just so you can kind of see the difference. So this piece is just, it's actually not even a heavyweight paper. I'd say it's probably like I feel like it's like an 80-pound Nina, so it's not super heavyweight. Okay, and now here I've got, ooh, this is even lighter than this, but I've gessoed this paper, so let's kind of see how that takes the color. So you can see if it, you know, can decide if it needs to be gessoed or doesn't need to be gessoed. So just put a little bit of spray on there. We're going to do the same technique on here just so we can get the same. We're doing like for like. Okay. And there's not, there you go. You can drag it through like that. Okay. All right. So super fun way. Hi, Cynthia. Okay, so here's the non-gessoed piece, and then on the right is a piece that I've gessoed as well. So pretty close, pretty close. I think you could skip that step for sure. You don't necessarily need to gesso it. So I'm just going to take, this one that we stamped on and just press that in here to pick up as much of the ink as I can. We'll kind of make that the cleanup piece of paper. And, oh, Carla says Dina also has a class where she focuses on the gloss sprays. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to check that out because now that I have them out, they're kind of fun. But I think I say that every Facebook Live that, oh, I really like this now that I'm actually doing something with it. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Carla. That would be a good one because these are actually quite lovely. And then Carla was saying, pull out the tube from the top of the sprayer. Yes, I did find that yesterday when I was kind of seeing which ones were working and which ones weren't. That I was taking out little chunks that dried in there. Yeah, use it as a paint. Yeah, exactly. And that's the nice part, the nice thing that you can use this in a couple different ways. Speaking of which, oh, I just got a little splatter on there. Ah, that's why paper has two sides. There we go. Oh, that one's dirty too. It'll work. It'll work. So I'm just going to grab my brayer here. And I find this kind of a fun way to add some color here. So we'll do this pink. This lighter pink, which is carnation. And I'm going to put, you know what I'm going to do? This is so me. I'm just going to put some of it on my little bitty, my little teeny weeny splat mat here. Just to kind of give me more control. Oh, look, surprise, surprise. This one won't spray either. So clearly I did not do a very good job yesterday when I was unclogging my sprayers because some of them are still clogged. Okay, so let's do this. I've sprayed some of the color here. Now I'm just going to take my brayer and we're just going to smush our color down like this. From the top and the bottom. Okay. Now I'll grab, okay, let's try eggplant. We'll see. Any luck. I'm not going to clean up the color off the splat mat or the brayer. We'll just roll with it. Yay! It worked and I sprayed it all over the place. All right. And then I'll come in the top there. Ooh, I like this. You can get some kind of neat neat looks here. And that just dragging it on with the brayer. Okay, we'll set that aside and we'll bring this back in after and use it with a stencil. So I think that's kind of one of my most favorite ways to use that, just looking at this so far. And I've got some random ink here, so I'm just gonna use a extra piece of paper, pick up as much color as I can, and not worry too much about whether it looks like something that's usable right at this moment or not. Do you guys have any, I'm not going to call them crafty resolutions, I'm going to say any crafty goals for the year in particular? I like to make a few, and then I kind of forget to go back and see how many I actually were able to get to. I call them goals. Sometimes I just call them crafty to-dos. You know, and some to-dos happen quickly, and some are ones that, you know, if they get done in any space of time before my final days on Earth, I'll be happy. But one of them I wanted to show you guys. I bought this little mini journal a couple of years ago, art journal, and I've done a few things in here, not much, but one of the things I want to do this year on my crafty goals is to do a little bit more work in this little mini journal. And the nice part about it, I think it's about a 4x4. The pages are small. So using things like this in a mini journal, perfect. So you can get it done quickly, and you can, you know, kind of feel like you're super, super artsy when you say that you're working in your mini art journal. Okay. So on to the next. Let me just grab another piece of paper. So I love how this stuff sprays, and I love the sheen that you get. So let's pair this up. We're just going to make I know this one works, so I'm going to try not to get spray all over the place. And we just want to make this one nice solid color. Okay. And there's a lot of ink on that. And so one of the things you can do with this as well, I've got quite a bit of ink on there, so I'm just going to grab another piece. Let's grab a bigger one. And I'm just going to lay that, kind of kiss it to that. There we go. Oh, look at that. And just pick up some of that ink. Okay, and so now we've got two kind of really unique pieces. We're going to do something else with this one after, but I'm just going to set that aside to let it dry. So really pretty. And you can work with this on your craft mat, on your glass mat as well. I just knew I was using a little bit of a bigger area, so I thought I'd go with my larger craft mat. Okay, and Carla says, oh, purge and organize older supplies. Exactly, I agree with you. I've got every year I do a bunch of that, and I'm going to be doing a bunch more of that too this year. Okay, so let's bring back in, we're just going to let that purple one dry for a little bit. Let's bring back in this earlier one, and this is dry, and let's kind of see if we layer over another color. This pink should kind of resist. Let's try this aloe color. This might be pretty. It's this color here. Yeah, that feels like a never-ending job sometimes, is purging and organizing older supplies. Especially when, you know, you kind of had FOMO 6 years ago and bought that super cute stamp that you have not used in 6 years. And now you're like, oh, does this go in the purge file? Do I try to sell it and get some money back out of it? Or do I try to use it? Okay, so let's layer on this aloe over top. Please spray, please spray. Which is not going to spray? Boy, I am striking out today, you guys. Let's see. Let me see if I can see. Aha. So you can see right on, can you see on the top there? Let's see if it will. There we go. There's a little chunk of something stuck in there. That's why it's not spraying. So let me see if I can get that out with my tweezers. I'm just gonna kind of hit the spray again because that kind of brings it up to the top. All right. Let me pull that lid off. Oh, it might be okay now. I don't know where it went, if it's okay. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got it working, guys. Okay, I'm just spray, spray, spray. And now I'm kind of going to get it. So it's not quite spraying as good as it should, but that's fine. There we go. Okay. And now I'm just going to grab my kitchen roll, just kind of roll that across. Oh, look at that. So probably if I come in with another piece here, I can just wipe that right off of the pink. Pretty, hey? So that's quite a light color, but then you can see now that it does resist that other color. So this would be fun. You could add a lot of depth to this just by layering that darker color on a little bit, create a darker background. Okay. Now let's try it on this one where we just kind of stamped our stencil on top. And so you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to spray that on here, but and then I'm just going to take my brayer and kind of roll that over onto to cover the paper. Okay. Let me just pick up a little more color. That works really well. Okay. And then we'll just lay that on top. Pick that up off the pink. Look at that. That's pretty. Super pretty. Hi, Sandy. So love that. Hello, Tammy. All right. So yes, the colors definitely do resist each other. This could probably work I could work a little harder on getting that off, but so I love that. That comes together beautifully. Okay, let's bring back in our purple guy. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of embossing on him. Let me just make sure I have lids on here. Okay, I'm just going to give my brayer a little wipe. There's no color left. All right, and let's grab a stencil. I've got lots of stencils here. Let's see. Maybe something out of here. I think this is an oldie. This is an old one from Vicky Booten. Yeah, let's do the words, like super old. I'm not sure which line this was from, but it's got this kind of sort of scripty looking. So let's we won't coat the whole thing, but I'm going to take out my Ranger Emboss It Dauber. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of pat that, not all over, but just kind of in a little section here. Okay. Hopefully we have enough ink on there. I grab my scratch paper, pull that off. Now, you can't really see it on here. I mean, it's really, really faint when you tilt it. Yeah, the colors are beautiful, aren't they, Sandy? And they're vibrant too. So we'll see where our embossing powder sticks to. So I've got this Spellbinders Liquid Platinum, or sorry, Ranger Liquid Platinum. I think this was new in the store in December. Oh, I just dropped a little bit there, but that's fine. We're just going to sprinkle it over here, and then we'll see where our, oh, there we go. So we can see, you can see we've got our little scripty on here. And now this stencil, it literally just kind of looks like script. It's not like something that's readable. It's not supposed to be. We can call it artsy script. All right, so I'm just going to pour this back into my jar. You know, it's funny, way back in my Stampin' Up! Days when I was first started making cards, I bought myself that nice fancy little tool where you can put your little trays where you can put your paper in the tray and then sprinkle your embossing powder and then, you know, just kind of funnel it back into your jar. And honestly, a good old letter-sized piece of paper, that has become my go-to. Oh, okay, let's see. Sandy says, oh yes, registration is coming up for the Creative Scrapbooker Magazine Carnivals. I did see that. I'm feeling like next week, maybe? Not 100% sure. So, yeah, check out the Creative Scrapbooker Magazine website. That's right, I did notice that the other day. They said registration is coming up for the carnival. And we will be in both Calgary and Edmonton. I get to go to Edmonton this year. I had to miss it last year. My daughter had surgery, but everybody's good this year, so I can go. All right. Yeah, those daubers are great, especially with stencils. And look, I missed a little spot. I love this platinum. There we go. Okay, so with this, you could kind of mix your different colors and it would look almost like a marble. Let's try that. Let's see. Oh, actually, before that, let's bring back in this guy. And let's do a different stencil. Let me just think. Let's try, just trying to decide if I want to go back to the circles or if I want to do, yeah, let's do this one. We'll do this other stencil. This again is one of the Vicky Booten stencils, but I don't know what line it's from. If you have some of her stencils, this is what the front of that set looks like, if that helps at all. Okay, let's do this other guy, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a little bit of embossing, and then I think after the embossing, we'll come back in with another coating of spray that will brayer on. So I'm going to do a little bit down in this corner. Okay, and yeah, I highly recommend one of these daubers, just if you're not trying to cover the whole entire panel, because it might take too long. And oh, thanks so much, Carla. Okay, February 1st and 2nd or earlier if you're a VIP member, right? Okay, thanks for putting that link in there, Carla. So you can check that out, and it would be awesome to see you guys there at the carnival. There is a marketplace too at the carnival. So if you're not wanting to crop, you definitely can still come and shop or just say hello even. We love to put faces to names from the lives. Okay, now of course I can't remember where I actually put the embossing ink, so we'll just do this. Oh, of course, put it on the opposite side. Well, I had a 50% chance of getting that right? Okay. So we've got that on. Just going to clean this up here quick. So yeah, if you're kind of wanting to get back to crafting, took some time off for the holidays, but there isn't quite new stuff yet, I highly encourage you to pull out your whatever you might have. If you have these gloss sprays, if you've got distress oxides, you've got any type of inks, if you've got a gel plate. Oh yes, thanks Sandy. Yes, Kelly Clark, it's the Ranger. I'll just show you this one here. The Emboss It Dauber. Okay. Yeah, pull your stuff out and play around. If you cut things into, you know, card size, so A2 card size, if that's the cards you make, then you can just kind of put them aside in a pile and pull them out as a background or as a card front later on for a background. Oh, heat embossing never gets old, I tell you. Look at that. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, and I'm feeling that I want to do I want the light green or let me just see. Yeah, we'll do the aloe. Even though it sprays kind of funny, that's fine. We're just gonna give that a little mist. And I'm gonna bring that brayer back in because I really like that. Just kind of gives a nice little settle. Okay, so remember that these colors, like the pink and the purple, are going to resist, but we're going to get that green into the white areas. So I'm just going to put it right on my mat, actually. Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Kim is a master of clear embossing ink. She knows so many techniques and such a creative person. Okay, so look at that. We can get that in. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna go over top of my embossing there. But look at that. We've got a nice subtle bit of color on the white there. And then, yet we can see our embossing. I could go in here if I wanted to make that, you know, I want to make sure I get that green behind the embossed. Hang on. Kind of right down in there. There, I'm kind of like really working that into the white area. And then I'll come right over top with there. Okay, so, and you could keep going with this. We can let this dry and then keep going with that. If we wanted to add a little bit more color, some more embossing, or maybe you probably could stamp on this. I wonder if we should try. I'm wondering what ink. I feel like we should try it. Like with a stamp that would add some texture. Let me see. What do I have around here? Okay, I got something we can use. Let's pull this out and see. Now, I did not check the store to see if we have any of the archival inks, but I feel that those should stamp really well on top of this gloss. So let me just grab some here. Okay. And what do you guys think? Like black? I've got navy. Got blue, I've got brown, I've got sepia. Sepia might be neat. It's kind of brown, but not really. It's kind of a rusty brown. Or I have library green, or potting soil. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Yeah, the colors work really well together. So, and I just pulled out this stamp from my stash. Let's see, what is this? It's from Stamperia. I think that's how you say it. So let's just do, let's do this one. We'll just try this guy and see how well this will stamp over. So I'm going to do something, maybe I'll do coffee. So it's not too dark, but we should still be able to see it. So, oh, better press R2. Oh, okay, well, okay, I'm putting coffee away then. Tell you what, let's try sepia, because I have a good idea of what coffee looks like. Let's try sepia. Oh yeah, Carla, I hadn't thought about that. Well, okay, considering I bought these archival inks, I don't know how long ago, and this is maybe the second time I've pulled them out to do anything with them. Yeah, I think we should have like a use it, or maybe it's time to lose it type of perspective, right? Like kind of go through the stash and say, okay, I'm either going to use this. If I'm not going to use it, then it's going to go in the box to go to somebody else. Okay, so we'll, ooh, I like that. I kind of smudged it a little bit. Just going to put a little bit up in this corner. Kind of a little bit more down here. Okay. So we're going to let that sit. Let it dry. Yeah, so Carla, I'm thinking because it's acrylic and kind of like plastic, you have to use something that's archival, right? Otherwise it's not gonna, it'll never dry, unless you heat emboss like we did here. So that would be what I would say you would need to do if you want to do any inking over top. And I mean, these would be beautiful as well to kind of take your stencil and just ink right over the top. Maybe you have one of the solid ones. Oh, you're doing that too, Cynthia? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's necessary. You know, I guess the best answer would be like, don't buy things that you're not going to use. But I don't know. Can't help it sometimes. Okay. So I want to go back over this one because I want to make this a full sheet so that I can use that, maybe do some stenciling over top later. So, oh, no, I haven't used this gilt. And so this is like a gold. So I'm going to give that a shake. And I don't hear the ball moving, but that should be okay. Oh, there we go. Now I do. Yeah, something permanent. Okay. Yeah, so definitely an archival would be great. Or like you said, Carla, the better press inks, if you've got some of those. But how fun would it be, you guys? Oh, this thought just occurred to me. If you did this on like the better press cotton paper, you know, let's say you did even just spraying it one color like this and then going in there with your better press ink, depending on the plate you're using. Oh, I'm going to have to write down some of these ideas to give them a try. Cynthia. If only what, yeah, exactly. Okay. You know what I'm saying, Cynthia. Okay, so for this one, I want to do our little brayer technique. Oh, wow, this sprayed the nicest, you guys. Huh. Hopefully I don't clog that again. Okay. So I'm going to roll that gilt over top. Oh, this is pretty too. I just want to make sure. I'm going to roll over that again. I just want to kind of, there we go. So you can see it. And I'm just kind of rubbing off the majority of the color off of those other areas. Pretty, hey. Let me grab, I'm going to add a little gold to our little gessoed piece. I'll pick that up. Oh yeah, so can you see here how, see that stays green, that darker shade there? Actually, this was our non-gessoed piece, so let's add it to our gessoed piece too. All right, ooh, that's pretty. Kind of the fun thing with this, I don't know if you guys can see with this gessoed piece, because I didn't use a wide enough paintbrush, but those paint strokes kind of add some nice texture to that piece of paper. So, all right. So I think I've picked up as much of that as I can. All right. So yeah, you can see once you start playing around, and what I would do is if I'm going to play around with this stuff, I would do I'd basically do a whole bunch at once and just go wild and put them aside to dry. And then later on, you can either die cut them or use them as card fronts as is, or stencil over top. I'm just going to grab all the ones that we've done today. Let me see if I can figure out how to zoom back out. I don't understand this zoom function on here. There must be a way. Okay, I'll have to do it one at a time. Sorry for shaking the camera, guys. Okay, it won't cooperate, so we'll do it one at a time. Okay, so we started with this guy. Okay, we just sprayed that pink through the stencil. Okay, and then after that dried, we just went in with an aloe, with this lighter green, which is aloe. And all these colors are in the shop if you want to pick some up to try it out for yourself. Then we did this next piece, okay, where we stamped the stencil down onto cardstock. Again, we set it aside to dry and then came back in with that same green. Okay, we did my sprayer is clogged and I can't get it unclogged splattering, so that we can still, you know, make use of it. And you can also just pour it onto your craft mat and kind of drag your paper through like we did with this one. Okay, where we just drag our paper through. There's the ink smush, which, you know, actually this technique is, you know, pretty much called the ink smush as well. Okay, so we drag those through. So we've got a couple of those ones. We've got the straight on, just spray it on. And with this one, we actually turned the paper over or turned this piece of paper over right on the top and just kind of picked up the excess ink that was on there before it dried, which gave us kind of a really neat, almost a little bit like, almost looking like an alcohol ink type of background. All right. Okay, and then afterwards, after it dried, we took our kind of, I'm going to call it printed paper, I guess, or kissed paper, let's call it that. We'll borrow Vicky's kissing term. Okay, and we just went in and brayered on some of the gilt, which is this color. Okay, and then our purpley color was eggplant. Okay. And then on this one, after it dried, we came in with the embossing dauber, okay, and the platinum, or the liquid platinum embossing powder. Oh, look, I can see a spot I missed. I'll have to put that to my right or left and hopefully remember to heat set it. Okay, and then we've got this one where we just took our spray, picked it up with a brayer, okay, and we brayered on one way, brayered up, brayered down, and then after it dried, we added on another color, came in with a stencil and heat emboss with the same liquid platinum. Okay, and then we went over that with a little bit of the aloe. Okay, so actually for this one, we used the eggplant, the aloe, and the magenta. Okay. And then we just came in with a stamp I had in my stash from Stamperia and just did a little bit of a light stamping over that, and just to show you that is dry. So it feels sticky because it's this, you know, it feels plasticky, right? Because of the type of spray it is. Okay, So hopefully that's given you some ideas if you have them in your stash. Your grants are your IT. Right on. Use your loot. Not willing to lose at the moment? Then pull them out, Melanie. Yeah, pull them out. Maybe we can make that one of the challenges in the paper crafting group, to share a project that with products that you haven't really used very much. And that, but yeah, speaking of which, we do have the new challenge in the paper crafting group, and that one is share your something made with your favorite products of 2024 or all time. Really, it's quite open, and that can be anything as long as it's paper related. Yeah, they are fantastic, Cynthia. You know what? It is fun. And I think before I clean up my hot mess of an office, since I got these things out, I might go to town and spray a whole bunch of these too. Yeah, just to kind of make use of them. Yeah, so check out the challenge in the paper crafting group. Carla's going to be here next week. I'm going to Mexico tomorrow, so I am not going to be here next week, but I'll be thinking of you. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody. And thanks for dropping in and hanging out. And yeah, have a great day. And hopefully you get to play a little bit in your craft room this weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.